Welcome to Rock Solid, the Round Rock Business Leaders Podcast. Join your host, Bryan Eisenberg, as he explores the journeys of entrepreneurs and companies across Round Rock, Texas. From startups and nonprofits to large organizations, each guest shares their passion for doing business in this thriving community. Let's dive in.
Hi, everybody. It's Bryan Eisenberg, and I'm here with my good friend, Will Williams. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm always great.
I'm excited to have you as a guest because I don't think a lot of people know all the different roles that you play in our community. And I was fortunate to be introduced to you by one of our council members, Melissa Fleming. And in that time, and I know I'm not going to get them all, but let me just list a couple of things I know you're involved with. You're involved with the Round Rock July 4th Parade.
Yes.
Field of Honor that goes up in Georgetown.
Yes.
Honor Flight, Austin.
Yes.
You also do the Step 2, the getting sneakers to the kids
Right.
who need
Step
those.
success.
Step to Success. What am I missing?
School for the deaf, school for the blind. We teach self-defense class for kids. We have a stranger danger class for kids. We also work with all the surrounding communities.
Mm-hmm.
Say like Taylor, of course Austin, South Austin, Cedar Park, Leander. So anything that involves a veteran, we're part of it, no matter what. And we also do a suicide prevention part for veterans that's depressed.
Let's go into that because obviously the military has played a significant part of your life, but I think we need to roll it back because originally you were grown up in the foster system until you were adopted.
Yes, I was in the foster system until I was 13 years old. At the age, right before I turned 13, my mother and father, my father was a sergeant major at the 82nd Airborne. My mother was a school teacher with special needs. And they found me in a hospital. They adopted me. And, of course, from the age 13 to 18, my only friends were soldiers because I was on post. So by the time I turned 18 and took my military test, my score was very high because I did everything with soldiers. So it's funny. I was going to graduate on a Thursday night, and I asked my dad what was I going to do on the weekend. So he told me to get in the truck, and he took me on post, and he'd already signed my enlistment papers. All I had to do was sign my name, and I actually left the following week. And I stayed in the military 26 years.
And quite a bit of a history in the military. You were a first sergeant.
First sergeant started out, what happened is I joined the 82nd Airborne, which is, if my dad ever hear this, I joined the 82nd Airborne to start out with. 82nd Airborne means everything to him.
Yep.
And then I was recruited by the 2nd Ranger Battalion. At the 2nd Ranger Battalion, it took me years to actually be part of a team. I became a team leader. As a team leader, I did 6 deployments.
Yep.
And just wonderful experience. Met people that's unbelievable. Had a few injuries. 4 operations. That's the only part that I think I regret is the operations. Everything else is just amazing. It made me who I am today. I want to tell all the kids out there, this foster kids, when you're a foster kid, they tell you that you're damaged. That don't mean you have to stay damaged.
Mm-hmm.
You have a life. You have a career. My dad has always told me that you can't move forward if you keep looking back. And what happened to me made me who I am.
Yeah, and you are a significant source of support and care and just contribution to, our local community. Where's that get inspired by? Where's that mission to drive you every day to do that?
A couple of different reasons. My mom and dad, my dad is over 100 years old and still giving back in the community. My mom, who was a special ed teacher, who we lost about 6 years ago, never stopped. Never stopped. Before bragg, she would pass out. We call them brown bags. They would have a small bottle of water, a banana, and peanut butter crackers. So every time soldiers deployed, my mom would be at the airport with those brown bags. So just unbelievable. And then, of course, the military, it just kept pushing me. And then I get to Round Rock, Round Rock is my home now.
Mm-hmm.
I love Round Rock and the surrounding communities. Round Rock is day one. They accepted me from day one. And support is unbelievable. The first day I was here, our church here in Round Rock actually showed up at my door. First day. Hadn't even moved in yet. Second day, I'm walking downtown, and 3 of the city council members walk up to me and said they don't know me, but I was a veteran. I guess maybe the hats.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Maybe
the hats.
Rock Solid is produced and recorded at Round Rock Studio. Located right here in Round Rock, our state-of-the-art studio is built for podcasters and creatives alike. We offer multiple professionally designed podcast sets, top-notch recording gear, and a full photography studio ready for any project. Whether you're launching a new podcast or upgrading your existing one, we can help with multi-camera recording, editing, and everything you need for success. Record with us at Round Rock Studio, your local podcasting partner.
I'm proud to be a veteran. I'm proud of everything that we stand for. Are we perfect? No. Do we do everything just right? No. But we try hard. And that's all that matters.
Now, you run something called the Share the Will Foundation.
Yes.
And you've told me in the past about how that came about, because you actually didn't start it.
I didn't want it.
Could you share how that came about?
Well, when I first got to Round Rock, we had they want to start a community involvement program, neighborhood watches. And we had a city manager at that time that wanted to get veterans more involved in the community. Well, I kind of got voluntold that I was going to be that veteran. There was a couple of people involved with that. Miss Nancy Rabb, who owned the Wagger Bags, who recently, a while ago, passed away, turned out to be one of my best friends. George White, another veteran that was on the city council. John Sloan. And then they brought me into, at the time it was called the Round Rock Community Foundation,
Mm-hmm.
which is now the Central Texas Foundation. I met so many amazing people. Then they got me involved in all these different organizations. I really learned how to run a foundation from Sertoma. I was in Sertoma, and at the time, my PTSD was so bad, I couldn't even sit in a room for a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And they would come outside and talk to me.
Wow.
And pretty soon, my PTSD got a little better. Going to the Rock, riding horses helped me a lot. Working with animals helped me a lot. Then I was introduced to some of the other clubs, the VFWs, the Lions Club,
American Legion.
I mean, just, it's unbelievable. And I mean, so much support. As you know, you called me a couple of days ago about some heaters.
Mm-hmm.
And in 24 hours, my phone was blowing up. And it's just, not just from Round Rock, Georgetown, Leanna, Cedar Park. I mean, I can't get any better.
There's something very special about this community, and you're not the first guest who's dealing with it from a non-for-profit here, but why is it so powerful to run a not-for-profit in this area? Why does it seem to work so well?
Well, it's because a lot of nonprofits. Well, for us, Share the Will, there's no paid employees.
Mm-hmm.
We all volunteers. We do about 30 events a year, and I say we partner up with a lot of other organizations, and we have a lot of volunteers. At any given time, we'll have around 200 volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, we post the events. We ask you to show up. You pick the events. And if you pick an event and you don't show up, you don't come back. I'm a very upfront person. So you pick the event, and that's all we ask you. If you pick it, we just ask you to fulfill that commitment. And if you don't fulfill that commitment, then it's my job to let you know that you're no longer part of the organization.
Well, and just some of the examples of things you work. I mean, this past holiday season, you had to sponsor how many meals and how fast did you get those?
Well, it altogether, meals altogether came to not quite 4,000. But, it's not just us. It's working with so many other organizations. But it all came together, and we got out, I'm going to say 3,800 meals. We gave out 100 frozen meals. When I say frozen meals, it's frozen turkeys with, all the sides. Around 4,000 kids. Christmas Eve, we got a call of a family that didn't have any Christmas at 5 o'clock. By 9 o'clock, we had toys on their porch. And the best thing about that was to look up and see two little sets of eyes looking at me through the blinds. They opened the door and asked me if I knew Santa Claus. And I told them that Santa Claus is my best friend. That made my Christmas.
Yeah, you definitely make an impact everywhere you go. You are not a young man.
No.
As you said, you've had multiple operations, gunshot wounds, all of that. What's the secret to having all this energy I mean, you're all over the community. Every time I speak with you, you're somewhere else. What's the secret?
It's the love of the community. Christmas, we're doing, 4,000 kids. I got tired. I'm human. But there was one more family that needed me. I was sick a little while ago. It's funny. I asked for one thing. Give me one more day to help one more family. And it gave me a lot of days. So I'm good.
Talk about just crazy stories. I was told you were driving a bus and, at the airport, and you pick someone up and they look at you and they recognize you, and you didn't even know this person was still alive. Can you share what happened, that whole experience? Because to me, that was just, again, this is the life of Will.
Well, what happens? So what happens is there's a few of us that drives a bus at the airport. We don't get paid. I shouldn't say we don't get paid. The company pays us, but the money is used to help with wheelchairs or anything else that veterans need. So I'm driving the bus, and I look up, and this gentleman is he's eyeballing me. And I'm thinking, I'm going to have a problem. And I wasn't sure if he was thinking about robbing me. I wasn't sure exactly what he was thinking about doing. What happened is, way back in Iraq, for some reason, he thinks that I did something special. I did my job. And he thought that I had got killed in Iraq. And I wasn't sure if he was still alive, but he recognized me. And I stopped the bus, and he ran up, and he was hugging me, and he was crying. Well, me, I told him that, unless he was going to ask me out on a date, he had to stop hugging me. So, everybody on the bus was laughing, and it was just a great time. I've met so many people on the bus that I haven't seen in years. Half of Round Rockers rode my bus. They asked for my bus. I drive for Fast Park. Shout out for Fast Park. They were nice enough to let us work there part-time and let us donate the money. And, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and this gentleman, he thought you were killed in a mission while you thought he was killed in a mission? What was that about?
Well, sometimes it get a little intense when you're overseas, and people get wounded, get injured, they get medevaced. There was a rumor that I got killed. Thank God I didn't.
You're definitely not. Yes.
Yeah, he heard a rumor that I got killed, and I heard that his unit had ran into problems. And that happens. We get separated. We don't keep up with each other. Our life takes a different turn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from North Carolina, but I live in Texas. So it's really, really tough. And it was just good to see him, to know that he's alive. At Fort Hood, I have three, not Fort Hood anymore, Fort Cavazos.
Mm-hmm.
I have three soldiers that were my soldiers. Now they're first sergeants, and they have their own units. So it's like a father looking back at his kids.
Mm-hmm.
How can I stop when I know my kids are watching me?
Yeah. And I also know that your first sergeant lives in town, coincidentally, as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
He moved here a few years ago from North Carolina. His daughter married somebody here in Round Rock. Got sent here to Round Rock, and he's a little older, which I'm pretty old, so he had to be a little older. So they moved him here, and we get to have coffee pretty often. And it's funny, he still talks to me like I'm 18 years old. And so did my dad. I talk to my dad every morning. He advised share the will.
Mm-hmm.
And, he tells me what I'm doing wrong. And I appreciate that. Because once you get to be my age, you think you're doing everything just right, or trying to do everything just right. You need somebody that says, hey, stupid, you're not doing that right. And that's what my dad does. And we have several people here in town that does it. And I truly appreciate it. The worst thing the big problem that we do is, when a person dies, we always talk about that great person.
Mm-hmm.
But we never tell them why they're alive. And I think that's a big mistake. And there's so many people here in town that I just want to say thank you. They support me, they support the foundation. No questions.
Mm-hmm.
They're just there. I mean, at the parade, we use pallets of water. We give out water at the parade, 4th of July parade. We have people standing in line to donate water. Don't even have to ask for it anymore. Christmas, maybe 72 hours before Christmas, we have family, I think maybe 100 families, 150 families that we didn't have schmatzels for. I sent out one message. The city council members were lining up schmatzing families. The rest of the city was lining up. The VFWs, the American Legions, the Lions Club took families. Satoma took families. It's don't get any better.
Well, you know how I feel about you. You inspire me every day for everything you do. Why do you think, this community is so special? And you said, this is your home now.
Yes.
You grew up in other places. You've been all over the world. Why is this community so special?
And I'm pretty frank.
Yep.
So I'm gonna just say it like it is. You go in a lot of communities, they see an old black man.
Mm-hmm.
In Round Rock, they don't see me as a black man. They see me as a man trying to help. And they help me help others.
Yep.
That's the difference. It's funny. You go to places and they'll see you, and in the military, I was blessed. I got a few awards.
Mm-hmm.
And I did one podcast before, and it says, you're a black veteran with a lot of awards. I'm not a black veteran. I'm a veteran.
Yep.
Just a black man. That's the difference.
You recently had some kids come up to you who were also in the foster system,
Yes.
and you had some words of advice for them.
Well, being at the airport, it gives me a lot of exposure. There was a family that actually, they flew out, and I was fortunate enough, they put me on this magazine. They put me on this cover of this magazine, which they probably used that cover for target practice. But it went around to a lot of different people, and they got on the bus and they recognized me from this magazine. And the mother came up to me and she, with tears, and says that they had just adopted 2 teenage kids and they were having some issues. So she asked me what was my life like, and what do I do to if I start thinking about what happened. So I explained it to her, and a couple of days later, I'm at work, and this family is back, and they bring the kids. And we sit down to talk. Being foster is not easy. Today, back in my day, when they would move you from home to home, they put everything you own in a black trash bag. They still do that.
Wow.
Do you know how degrading that is for the other kids in school to see you with all your belongings in a black trash bag? So that's pretty tough. So no matter how much your parents love you, your new parents, they can't figure out what's wrong. But you go to school and kids don't mean it, but you're being bullied because they see you with a black trash bag. Back in my day, at Christmas, I would hate Christmas because you would come back to school and everybody was supposed to stand up and tell what they got for Christmas. I would always pretend like I had to go to the bathroom because I didn't get anything. So now that's why I come. As long as I live, I want to try to make sure kids have something for Christmas. And when I say it's not me, our foundation is pretty strong. We start out with 3, and we have about 200 regulars. We have been up to 460 people. We normally do a pancake breakfast. We had so many volunteers at the pancake breakfast, we had to call Austin Police Department to direct traffic. Those are volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had so many that day, I didn't even know what to say. We had so many young people that showed up. We actually did a contest. We had so many. So the deal is, any ROTC unit, they pick 2 kids, and if they can beat me doing push-ups, they get a challenge coin.
Okay.
So I still have my challenge coin.
I love that. Let's talk about the young kids. You've been through a lot. You've seen a lot. Again, not just through your lifetime, but in all the combat you've been and all the missions you've run and all of that. If you have words of advice, and we have some younger kids here in the studio today actually listening to us, what are you telling them? What do you want them to leave as lasting legacy words from Will to help drive them to hopefully reach your level of impact at their age?
Don't let anybody ever tell you can't do anything. You can do anything that you want to do. You just got to want to do it. You can't do it for your parents. You can't do it for anybody else. You got to do it for yourself. We all have different talents. I can't run a 26-mile marathon, but I can run 2 miles pretty fast. Everybody does something different. I can't write a book, but I can set up a event, do a parade, do a fundraiser. So we all have different talents. Use that talent to the fullest. So for the community, events, my thing. And with the help of the community and the help of the volunteers, we can do an event like nobody never seen.
When there's a will, there's a way.
We can do it. but I can't do everything. So what I do in the foundation, I surround my people that's good with different talents. We have people that does our programming. We actually have a pretty face. My face is not pretty. So I am not the face of Share the Will. But we have some young people. We have a couple that's amazing. I don't want to call it names, but we have one young lady who has Down syndrome. And she hosts every event. It's amazing. We have another young lady who has surgery and missing part of her brain, so she's limited to what she can do. But she prays for somebody every day. We can all do something. All. And if they don't do it, then they answer to me.
That might be frightening.
Yeah, we all have a talent. Just because I don't know how to turn on that light, but the person that does needs to be here to make sure the light is on when we're doing the event. And that's all we ask.
If anybody wants to get involved in our community and make an impact like you, what's some of the easy ways that they can connect with Share the Will or other organizations?
Well, I tell you what, if you want to connect with Share the Will, you go downtown, you stand on the middle of the street and says, "I'm looking for Will." And I will get a phone call. We actually had a gentleman on the honor flight. He was a World War II veteran. He passed away and left me his cavalry hat. His family was from Dallas. When he passed away, his family came down to the Long Branch Saloon, went outside and said that they were looking for Will. And in about 6 minutes, I had a phone call. And they had brought that hat all the way from Dallas because his dad left that hat for me. Pretty easy to find.
Pretty easy to find. Well, I want to take the time while we're on camera also to thank you, because one of the big things we do with you and Share the Will is, if there are veterans or people in need who need, electric wheelchairs and scooters, other medical equipment, you find a way, people donate them, and we get them into people's hands. And so, again, thank you for that impact as well.
Well, thank you guys. Meeting you and your family is probably one of the best things that's happened to me here.
Appreciate that.
It's the truth. Your sons are always there. They always got my six. So for you guys, you young people, I'm sure everybody has a term. In the military, when you say that somebody has your back, they always have your six. And that's a term that means that for real. You're not wondering, they have your six. And your two guys, they always got my six.
Absolutely. If people want to connect with you, what's the easiest way to find you?
Go on Facebook, Will Williams. Go on Facebook. I'm always there. I don't like to be there. You'll see my picture. Please don't use it for target practice. But a lot of people do. Just go and just send a message. It's not that easy to get my phone number. There's a phone number for Share the Will. Mm-hmm. You'll leave a message. We have some ladies on the board that's a little bit older than me and very protective.
Very protective.
So what happens, you leave a message and they get a word to me that I need to contact somebody.
Right, and that's that number they can find on the Share the Will website.
On Share the Will. And if you have anybody, especially a veteran, that's depressed, having problems, we can sit down and have a cup of coffee. We can solve all the world's problems over a cup of coffee.
And I'm looking forward to joining you and your first sergeant for coffee next week. So, again, thank you for your time today.
Thank you. I truly enjoyed this. This is amazing. One of the most amazing places I've been in since I've been in Round Rock. I never knew it was here. Thank you. Thank your host for it. This is amazing.
Yeah. Brent and his team do a great job here.
Great job. I can't wait to tell everybody. I'm actually going to call Fort Bragg and let them know about this. Tell them they need one. Could you imagine if we had something like this with all the veterans?
And to get their stories. How awesome would that be?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.